One, there is no field around here. Two, Olimuyai. I knew he would not understand, but I literally said to his face, Olimuyai. Well, hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, Stesh is my name and I am very glad to have you today. And for the people that have already subscribed to the channel, thank you so much because you help this channel grow. And if you plan on staying here, may you please subscribe. That would be a beautiful thing to have you join the family. So today, it's basically going to be story time. Story time of my few Tinder experiences that I've had so far that I can vividly remember. Yes, so today your girl is spilling some tea. So sit right and let's dive right. So for each that I'm going to share, I'm going to try and summarize so that the video is not so long. But yeah, just giving you the major highlights of what happened in those Tinder experiences and what I learned from each one of those experiences. And yeah, I just want to give you some information. So let's dive right in. Like a small disclaimer, your girl has a cold, but she'll be good. That's not the most important part of this topic today. So the first guy I met was a doctor. He was a doctor who was practicing medicine, but he was practicing in Russia, but he was a young guy, a 27-year-old. Let's call him who? Matthew, okay. So this Matthew guy we meet, and oh, the major highlight, he was Nigerian. You guys, I be out here risking my life. For y'all. Anyway, so he was Nigerian. He was those people who love bomb a lot, and that's a trick that I've noticed people use. I won't say men or women because everyone has their own tricks that they use, but he was those people who are very present, very communicative, will call you all the sweet nothings in this world. And that's something I noticed about Nigerians even when I went to Rwanda. Like, you meet the person today, leave alone the ladies, now this is for the guys, and where they are showing you all this love, you're the queen of my life. One even told me, you're part of my genotype. Here, my genotype is made up of you. I'm like, this guy. That one I didn't believe, of course. But long story short, so I met this doctor guy. He was completing his final year in medicine in Russia when he decided to come back home because, yeah, he's Nigerian, but his parents moved here like over 20 years ago for missions. And so his family moved here to Uganda. So he had come to attend the sister's wedding. The sister was getting married. And then on top of that, he was just going to be able to see his family, do some things to do with arranging for his graduation. Anywho, we meet up. The first dates were very interesting. The first date, he came to a restaurant next to my office, and we had like very nice lunch. He was really friendly with the waitresses, like very respectful. He was Christian. So it was a very nice experience. We would talk and everything, and you know that person that you meet and yeah, you're a bit comfortable. And I had always wondered, like, how do Nigerians deal? But he didn't even, okay, if he had that accent, it's because he was talking to his family, but with me he would speak normally, like, you know. Anyway, you guys, the guy, we would meet, would arrange dates and everything like that. He would come visit me at home. He had mentioned where he stays, the parents' apartments, because he was just here briefly. So, long story short, there is this time that we had met. We had a very lovely evening. We talked, we chatted about stuff. Then I had even told him that usually I get migraines sometimes when I'm about to approach my days of the month. Okay, the guy promised me, he almost told me I'll never leave you nor forsake you. He promised me, I'm going to help you, I'm going to treat you, you know what? Me, I'm going to be your personal doctor. You don't have to worry about anything in this life. Where I'm like, am I not sorted? Who am I that you're mindful of me, Lord Jesus? That you give me a personal doctor, just like that. Anywho, long story short, after that evening, he promises all those things. We were supposed to meet the next day to go to the museum because he wanted to see the Uganda museum, see what's there and all that stuff, and then we'll go for lunch. You guys, the guy showed up. He did show, he didn't call, he didn't pick, nothing. okay. So I had always told myself, you know what, if you're supposed to be meeting with someone, you first give them like maybe, and they don't call an hour before the meeting just to confirm that you're on. Give them some time. Something could have come up, but then after that, some time, communicate so that you can go ahead with your day and you don't have to sit out here waiting on this person. Long story short, I waited on the guy. He didn't call, he didn't pick, whatever, I chilled. But then I was a bit pissed. In that moment, my best friend calls me. I tell him, yo, this guy has played me, what not. He's just not picking. He's just not doing what? Like, what am I, like, we had this program. At this point, I am pissed. Like, I was just angry. Like, what's up? Like, why are you so flaky? For someone who is very communicative, this was a bit weird. Anyway, so I remembered he said he lives at Sunset Apartments, Nadia. That's where the parents resided. So I tell my best friend, let's drive there and see. Let's reach him and see what he has to say about this whole situation. I think, in fact, my best friend called like a day or two after, but I was still, wondering like what's wrong with some people. You guys, let me even drink to that. Anyway, we reached the gate. Yeah, some people are mad. Your friend here is mad, but yes, we reached the gate, and then I changed my mind. I'm like, you know what? I actually know that door, the door number, the apartment number, everything like that, but I'm just not going to bother. Because in all this, my best friend kept on telling me, man, it's not worth it. Like, we really don't have to. We can go drive around, have lunch, whatever, but it's okay. But then I told him, no, I think I'll get the satisfaction. You know those things you tell yourself? Me, I'll get the satisfaction when I hear from him one last time, give him a piece of my mind. I was like, you know what? What if you reach there and you just embarrass yourself? I said, you know what? It's cool, it's okay. I go on, move on with my life, and for me, I move on much faster when I get like, say, a new opportunity coming up. So in that time, thank heavens, I was going to work on a new project for an NGO, so I just gave it my all. I decided to have my peace. I blocked this guy's nyash, and I moved on. A month later, I hear a knock at the gate, and none of my neighbors were willing to open if they were not expecting anyone. So the person insisted on knocking. So I'm like, you know what, cool, let me just go see what it is. Lo and behold, the one and only Matthew, I think that's the name I gave him. So I think you remember this thing that I mentioned when I said that I like it when a guy, because maroon and grey combined are my favorite colors, or were my favorite colors at some point. So I had mentioned that to him. That day he came in like a nice maroon shirt and nice grey sweatpants, looking fresh as they come, fresh haircut. And you know what he told me? Okay, I was from playing soccer in the nearby, field and whatnot, and I remembered you stay around here, and I decided come check on you. I'm like, wait a minute. One, there is no field around here. Two, Olimuyaye. I knew he would not understand, but I literally said to his face, Olimuyaye. So I let him into the gate, but I told him you're staying outside. If we are talking from outside. We talk. He's like, no, it's just that I was still working on some stuff to do with graduation, and I figured that I didn't want to just put you into all that stuff. No. Anyway, long story short, I just told him, you know what? Juices. I think after 2 months he even left, and then he started texting me on Facebook Messenger. I see you blocked me. No. I'm like, yes, I even blocked you on mobile money, so you cannot have access to me like that. Bye. And that was it. That was first experience. That's the doctor. What I learned from my experience with the doctor Matthew, as we called him. Love bombing is a real thing, and people use it as a way to actually, especially guys, use it a lot to make you believe that you're the best thing that has happened to him. And they make all these promises. I don't even know why we keep falling for these tricks, but we fall for them anyway. And that's also a thing that I learned. Like, I looked at it after some time and I noticed, you know how after the fire has gone down, you try to think about it, you're like, but what was it that actually led me to this place of like thinking me and this guy could actually have a real thing going? Because maybe we used to pray together sometimes, but anyway, that reminded me that you can never be so sure. That's one. You can never be so sure of what people say versus what they do. Those are two different things. And even the other time when he reached out, like, hearing someone out is one thing, but if you know they did something intentionally and you're still trying to understand and get closure is silence, and disappearance is closure enough. You don't really need an explanation, leave alone if the person died or got an accident or something major happened, like to them or someone they love. Closure is bullshit. Closure is nothing, and never tell yourself that I'm going back to see this guy or to see this girl just so I can get closure. You end up in cycles that you wouldn't have rather ended up in. So that was my experience with the doctor. It was fun while it lasted. I'm not salty at all, but I know for a fact that, yes, when I hear my friends talk about, oh, I met this Nigerian person, those are their patterns. They love bomb a lot. They'll call you all the sweet nothings on day dot. Even when they WhatsApp, or even when they text you on the app, on Tinder, they'll be like, hey beautiful, hey love, la 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 la. Like, they come so strong, but they leave so strong. Like, the fastest they come, the fastest they leave. That's just a reputation that they have built, and that's just what it is. Second experience, the pilot. You guys, just because these people are, I'm defining them by what they do, that's the easiest way I'll be able to differentiate them. It does not necessarily mean I be out here looking for people with money and all. It's just that for me, I'm such a sapiosexual that if someone communicates to my mind, makes romance to my mind, if I can, my mind is so strong. Like, if we can talk, if you're good at conversation, if you can keep up a conversation, writing full sentences, for me that's a good start. Of course, plus other aspects, but for me that can pique me interested in you, especially if we did not meet at a wedding or on the street or in office, but we are meeting online, because that's the best way I can now be able to gauge that. With good conversation and communication, I'm able to shift with this person to the green app. Anywho, so pilot, how did we meet? Yes, we communicated the first days. He would check in and everything like that. His family is also here, but he's Kenyan. His family is here, and then yeah, we had a very gorgeous first date. You guys, it was at one of my favorite restaurants in Kampala here. So he told me, pick place, time, I'll be there. You guys, when I tell you that the guy was there 30 minutes before, and by then I was still in human resource. So you know how you want to leave work, but then a situation comes up and then you just can't leave. So I find that guy there. I phoned a waiter at the reception. He's like, hi, are you with company, table for 1, table for 2? I'm like, yes I am. Anyway, so I tell him, I try to describe the person best of what I had seen in pictures. Long story short, I see that guy. He looked okay. He looked great. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. Before I knew it, he gets like a whole bouquet of flowers. It's like, this is for you. I'm like, baby, tell me. You know, I used to be those people that say, me, flowers, blah, blah, blah. But receiving them actually felt really good. It felt good. Anyway, so we sit. We had a lovely time. You guys, we had a lovely time. This guy ordered for food like there was no tomorrow. Like, I was like, guy, Ofachi. Then, for some reason, I think he had, you know how I had my housemate then had kind of, one of the phone calls that he made to me, he had my housemate speak. So he's like, who is that? I'm like, yeah, that's my housemate. That's my friend, my housemate too. So as we ordered for food, he's like, what does your housemate like to eat? I'm like, hey, so you're feeding me and my whole clan? Let's do this, please. I think we got her pizza, we got her wine. Great, it was a whole thing. Anyway, it was a beautiful first date. he drops me home, but I didn't want, like, okay, I always had this thing of, man, just never show someone like your exact address. People are creepy. Someone can come back for you in the night, whatever. So I just told him, you can drop me here. He's like, I insist. I would like to know that you've reached home safe, as it's a bit late. It was coming to 9 p.m. But there was no curfew, so I'm like, no, it's good, I'm good. So even the second date, but then I knew for a fact that because he's a pilot, he's going to fly out like every often and stuff like that. But he would check in. Now for this one, actually, he was, yeah, of course, his number was off sometimes, of course, when he's not in the country, because he would be flying to Quebec and back, where, sorority, what, to the flying school in sorority. So I knew this one was a bit, unstable. But he had such a charm, you guys, he had such a charm. You know those people who are very intentional, for lack of a better word, intentional, willing to hear you out, then you laugh out loud like you've known each other for 100 years. But in the process of all this, getting to know him and stuff like that, so there is a day he was like, yeah, I think we should meet up, and I'm flying in like at around, I'm going to be flying into town like at around midnight, but I would like to meet you. I'll be reaching town, Kampala, like at 1, and I would like to meet you. Now, my friends had gone out with my housemate, they had gone out and everything. So he's like, I don't know, you can do Uber and I'll clear it up and everything, and then we meet. So we go. So in all this, you guys, this is me, who is rarely home after a certain hour. Like, I would rather go home early, unless I'm sure of how I'm going home and everything. So it was a whole, so anyway, he convinces me it's going to be worth your while, and we'll go for dinner, we have a lot of fun and everything like that. Then I go home. Then somewhere, he was always receiving phone calls. Aki, there is this work that I have to do for the president, over what. So he was always on phone, like, sometimes. And then he's like, excuse me, those people that are very courteous, excuse me, let me just pick up this call, excuse me, this is. Anyway, so he said he was going for a training to be a pilot to one of the presidential elites or something like that. And then he kept on saying that, and if I don't get to see you anytime soon, just know that whenever I next see you, it will be beautiful, it will be awesome. Then, I think that day he drops me off, like at 3 a.m. So that day, after we had a lot of fun, had dinner, went dancing and everything, he told me he was going to Ginger. So I gave it some time, knowing that, if I check in like still through the night, it will not make sense because he's driving, right? So I chill, I sleep, wake up, then I call to check in if he reached safe, Mona, take caring, whatever I was. Whew. Anyway, so I called day 1, his phone is not going through. Day 2, his phone is not going through. But then I remember, again, this is a pilot, he could have literally gone anywhere. But then I knew he was staying for a training. So I just told myself, I'd calm down. And then he didn't, I didn't know of many people that were his friends, but at that point I just had this whole idea of, if it goes past like 72 hours without hearing from him, then maybe I'll find a way of contacting someone to find out if everything is okay. To summarize this, I didn't hear from him for those 3 to 5 days. Contact a friend. I was so scared because in all this now I'm saying this guy last came to my house. If he was in Kampala, the last place he could have been seen, if they're tracking his phone or his steps, whatever, was at my gate dropping me. So how am I supposed to say I don't know where the person is in case anything happened? Again, this was me being naive, because again, if something had happened, I would know. I would actually know. Anyway, that one, after that time, he was a bit flaky. So I even remember there is a time my housemate like just sat him down and told him, you know what, you guys have a good connection, Stesh is a very lovely person and everything, but if you're not certain of what you're doing, can you just chill? Because at the end of the day, it's tasking for her, yet she has to give her job her all, she has to live her life. If you're not about to do this, just, you know, just chill. Just leave her alone and move on with your life. She moves on with her life. Anyway, not so long after, I discovered this man has a kid and a wife. Wow, baby mama, I don't even know. Because I checked his, you know how you be scrolling through your phone numbers and everything, and then you see someone's profile picture, it's a woman and the kid had a head like his. That was it for me. I'm like, you know what, it was nice, but bye. Like, I just never checked him, never called him to know what he's up to. That was the end of it. My lessons from this is, guys, if there are red flags, like someone breadcrumbing you with communication, today they are on call, tomorrow they are not available, and you're making excuses for them, I think you better stop. Let it be what it is. And yes, just because someone seems nice and everything does not make them a nice person. But also, you don't really have to be, you have to see something for what it is. Like, if the person is very flaky, just read through it. Don't wait for excuses, don't wait for reasons, just read through it. But what made it difficult for this one is because when he was around, it was all lovely, it was all lavish, it was nice, but then he would disappear for some time. Until I was like, you know what, I'm so bored by this, bye yo. My third one, this one is a less dramatic one because one, we didn't get to interact so much beyond like the first meeting, but it was definitely a nice one. So yeah, this guy is like one of those people that are known by many people. He's quite older than me, like maybe 5 years older than me or 6, which is okay because you believe that those are more mature people. So I get to talk to the guy, find out like, who are you, what are you, what do you do, and everything. He's a very steady person. He's very chill, very relaxed. But then by the time I met him, I think after I had gone through these experiences, now I was more keen like to be okay with not having to be anything further with someone. Like, if what we want is different, that's okay. So yeah, for this one, I even met him during the pandemic because for him he had like a pass and a sticker and whatnot, so he was able to drive around freely, whatever. We went to a nice, there's a place that had very nice pork, and honestly this time I was also over these like restaurants, hotels, whatnot. I just wanted like a chill vibe, just get to see this person in their chill element, you know. And yeah, we met. It was very, very lovely. In fact, this one offered to pick me up, but what I do is usually at least I have a picture or two, and maybe we've done like a video call just to make sure that this person is what they actually look like. So I let my sister know before I go for a date with a stranger, and if possible I get to at least screenshot a picture, check out their LinkedIn profile or something. And I know that cannot be satisfactory enough, but it is what it is. So anyway, for this one we met, it was really nice. We talked business, we talked family. He was really, you know, into a good conversation. The only difference was he was in a complicated relationship. You know how like you have someone but the person is not in the country and you guys are not yet defined. So I think he was also now like in that state of, is it that I get to decide if this is the person that I want to be with, or I'm happy to get to meet other people. So for this one, it was very chill. I'll call him a businessman because I know that he has quite a number of businesses. We've done some business together, and for sure it didn't have to be any dramatic, it didn't have to have any disappearances. We're buddies right now. It's like very chill, very relaxing. And I'm like, you know what guys, actually my lesson from this one is not everyone you meet is supposed to be my boyfriend, husband, whatever, but there are people who make actually awesome friends, very, very awesome friends, even when you don't have to complicate it to like get it from a friendship to a relationship, because sometimes people are at different places in their lives. You're at a different place, I'm at a different place, so we agree that, you know what, this is not what I want right now, and that's fine. And actually from that, I have to say that I learned that it's never that complicated. It's either that you want in or you don't. And if you make everything clear from the beginning, now if you, for example, that guy, because usually men give the direction of where the relationship is going, if you make something clear from the beginning, I can indulge knowing what I'm going for. But where we go wrong as women is someone will tell you, I'm not looking for a relationship. And again, the Bob the Builder in you will try to convince this person backwards, which is not really necessary, because honestly, when you think about it, it's not that deep. It's that deep if you guys have been married and shit, but you see, even with that, it's no longer that deep. It's what it is. If someone is not serving you, or if you're not serving them, if you're being selfish, if you're not reaching out to them where they need you to reach out to them, you'd rather leave them alone and find someone that you actually want to meet, as opposed to giving them continuous vibes of I'm with you, yet you're not. And this goes for both guys and girls, but basically that's just my part one. And I don't know if there will be a part two, but I can say that for a fact from my experience as a person, because this very video comes out because many people have asked, you mentioned online dating in your videos. How do you do that? Don't you feel judged? No, guys, there is nothing to feel ashamed about wanting to meet people and getting to know people, because in as much as there are many bad people out there are many awesome people out there. You just have to give people a chance and not just write off someone before you even meet them, unless of course they say certain things that are crazy. I honestly believe, for me, through online dating, I've met people that have become friends, and that's it, without it being, because again, there are people who put reason of me, I'm looking to make new friends. Given the fact that the pandemics came the way they did, life was never the same. People are looking to interact, meet new people, understand how are people doing life on a normal day, and the only way people would do that is either through social media, which is not so different from online dating, apart from the fact that of course the structure of the apps is different. But other than that, online dating is not such a bad experience. You just have to know how to be careful, do your due diligence to the most satisfactory level you can, because at the end of the day, if your life is in jeopardy, you need that at least someone close to you or two people close to you should be able to know who you went with for this date. What is their name? What do they look like? For me, if I cannot secure a picture of you and maybe confirm that that's you, that's why with Tinder, and this is not an ad, but Tinder has that verified tick, you see how Instagram verified is and Twitter. If you can do your face, if you can take a picture of your face in correlation to, there is a way they scan it in correlation to the pictures that you've put there, so it shows that this is what you actually look like, so that people are not being catfished out here, because there are female catfishes and male catfishes. So over catfish, okay, whatever the case, just be careful. Even if it's not Tinder, it can be Badu, it can be Afro Introductions, it can be any other app, it can be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. You can still meet people, but be super careful. But also don't forget to have fun and get to see people and just pick people's perspectives. Sometimes it also helps you know what you don't like, especially if you've been out of the dating pool for such a long time. Sometimes you forget how people are thinking in that moment. It's like saying that you want to look through job descriptions just to see what are employers looking for right now. That wasn't the case when you first got to the job that you had. Yeah, so other than that, thank you so much for sitting through today's video, for watching. Please let me know if you'd like to know more about this. Other than that, don't forget to do your best, be your best, and God will do the rest. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. I love you so much, and bye.